Hello YouTube, this is Stefan from Holland, and I just want to add my 2 cents to the discussion about batoning, especially batoning with a knife. I know it's a bit of a controversy, and I just want to add my 2 cents. Okay, let's start. If you would imagine this is a chisel, and this is some kind of a sculpture in the progress, and this would be the wooden hammer. You see a lot of sculptures making their statue like this. I have never seen one doing it like this. Why is that? Because batoning actually is a very controlled way. If a sculptor is making a statue batoning with a chisel, we call it art. So I will call batoning with a knife, a machete or even an axe a skill, at least. And I think it's a very useful skill. I will try to demonstrate why. I have here a very cheap tool. It consists of an axe and a knife. Both are not very good, but they are sufficient. Sufficient in many survival situations. Let's start with the axe. If I want to chop this, I will have my fingers here, and chopping will always mean, if it's a knife, an axe or a machete, it will always mean a swinging motion. And swinging motions mean danger. I always say, if you want to stay safe, baton instead of swing. That's not just for wood, actually. But okay. There's a different method where you put your axe on the wood and chop like this. Yeah? This actually is still swinging, but your blade is protected, so it's a bit safer. This is, by the way, this is not a very good axe, and this is then not so real good blade that belongs to it, but it's a full tang construction, or at least a stick tang, but a stick running all the way through. Okay, it all depends on what you want to baton and what you want to baton it with. I have here 3 different batons. This one is very lightweight. You can see I have already used it. And this is what I use on maybe a light Mora knife. A non-full tang and also a non-heavy duty knife. Just light tabs to maybe make a dent for to carve. Okay. Light knives. Somewhat bigger knives, somewhat more sturdy. I like it when my baton has a notch, by the way, because there it is much stronger. Okay, this is for medium knives. Also maybe for an axe or a machete. And of course this one is for the heavy duty knives. I'm talking knives up to 6 mm thick, which can take a lot of abuse. Do I need this one? No. Do I need this one? Sometimes. Not always. Usually this one is sufficient, because I only baton when it's light work, to make kindling, to make to get to the inside of some piece of wood that's maybe the thickness over my wrist. Nothing more. I'm not gonna build a complete log cabin using batoning. And this also brings me to the knife you're going to use. Okay, this is a cheap knife, and this is a piece of wood. What I'm doing is I'm sitting on both my knees because that's the stable way to sit. I can't fall down. And okay, well, my trousers will get dirty, but who cares? It's about safety. And this is the way I'm going to use it. I'm not going to go like this, because this is not the way you baton. This is the way your arm will swing. And that's why it's safe. I'm going to use a medium baton this time. I put my knife down. And then I first give 2 taps. And look what happens. It's already splitting. And I know it's sinking in a horizontal way. Or vertical way, I must say. So if I now continue splitting this, it's done. If I see after 2 taps that my knife is going like this, I will stop. Or adjust, of course, because the action from the wood on the blade should always be 90 degrees. And there's also one more rule, it's always, or preferred, a wooden block, no rocks of course, because then your knife will cut inside the rock. And then wood, and use wood on the blade as well, so it's always wood against metal. Okay, even the cheaper knife which we use, and it's not full tang, and the stick tang runs up until about here, but it's still very useful. And I've been using this knife for more than 2 years now, and I've had students use it, well, sometimes even actually abuse it, and it's still going strong. I will make a different video, a separate video about this knife. But it's also the same method. You take your board, you take your knife, find your comfortable position, keep your legs together, because the inside of your legs, like it forms a triangle, and that's where the veins are. So stay clear from this, and then that's 2, and you can see it's going down straight. You see a notch here, but no worry, it's breaking. No problems there, and the notch is very big, by the way, as you can see. But if you don't put too much stress on the blade, it will cut. No damage to the blade at all. And it's a very safe method, because you are not swinging the blade. The force is always going down into the protected area, which is in this case this block. Tap tap. You can see still there's a notch here, but it's going down, so I can continue. A smaller block. Tap tap. And as you can see, also a notch there, but it will break around the notch. Okay, some finer. Tap tap. It's going down, straight down the line, and you don't have to put much pressure on there. Just take it easy. It's not a contest, and it's not designed to break the knife or test the knife. Okay, this is cool. As you can see, I'm not putting much stress on here, because that's no use. Only if you have to baton very thick blocks, then you have to put real stress on there, but then you better take an axe. So when do I take a knife and when do I take an axe? Well, I take an axe whenever it's obvious that I'm going to split a lot of firewood, or make a base camp made of logs, big logs. I take a machete when there's a big probability that there's some brush that I have to clear. If I have to cut a lot of thin wood that's still alive, I will take a machete, because you need a swinging action. For all the rest, I just use a knife. So this one, for instance, we are selling this for to our members of the Dutch Bushcraft Association €8, and to non-members €9. then you have this Holter Force heavy duty knife. And the only thing is, because it's not a full tang but a stick tang up until here, I won't recommend doing this. But I will recommend doing this when needed. So batoning for me is a very safe way to get some firewood, to get some chores done. It's way safer than swinging an axe or a machete. In fact, when people do the introduction course, I show them these simple things about batoning, and it will take me about maybe 45 minutes to show them correctly. If I want to teach people how to use an axe, it will take me maybe 10 days. Well, not days, 8 hours straight, but it will take me 10 sessions, and they have to practice a lot. And this is just so very simple. And if you want to baton at an angle, it's possible. Just put your knife in an angle, but make sure that you baton 90 degrees on the blade. Otherwise you will give it too much stress. Instead of going like this, because this is a very difficult position, actually it's not possible. I go like this, I just switch over. And now I have the same position. And here you see I have the dent. Here you go. So that's the way to baton. This is my 2 cents. Actually I like to bring a baton. I take them from nature once in a while and I try to find a real hardwood. But for instance, something like this, I can easily take this in my backpack, maybe cut a piece like this, because I can use it as a throwing stick as well. So you don't need to cut a baton every time you go into the woods. But if need to, you can use a small baton to cut a bigger one and then do the things you have to do. So I do believe that batoning is a real potential and good art of a skill, I must say, of using your knife to do bigger chores than intentionally than just besides cutting. Okay, this is my 2 cents on the whole subject of batoning. Hope you enjoyed. Take care.